Hello and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop, your one stop for co-op news, reviews, and playthroughs. I'm Peter, and today I'm playing through Marvel Champions. I am so excited. I love playing Marvel Champions, and today I'm playing Rogue, one of the newest heroes to come out. I do want to say up front as a disclosure that I did get both the Rogue and Gambit packs sent to us from Fantasy Flight Games. You will notice we are not playing with live cards today, though we are playing online, because I think it's easier to zoom in and kind of see everything much clearer on a digital implementation. At least for me, who doesn't have a great camera setup yet, I am still working on that. So hopefully that doesn't bother you, but I will encourage everyone to go out and buy these packs yourself. If it is a game you're interested in, support the publishers. That's what keeps them in business. So let's talk a little bit about Rogue. Rogue, or Anna Marie on this side, is a mutant. During setup, you put your touched upgrade aside, so I'm just putting it here, and withdrawn, force response. After you change to this form, set touched aside. So you'd set it aside again when you go to your alter ego side. You don't keep it. And let's talk about her stats. She has 3 recovery, 11 hit points, 6 hand size. On this side, 5 hand size, so pretty standard 5-6. Rogue over here, 2-2-2, very nice stat line. I always like characters that are well balanced. X-Men, skin contact, action, attach touched to another character. So you can attach this to another character, can't do it on yourself. You gain each of the attached character's traits until the end of the round. Limit once per round. Okay, so this is where I got confused because I was like, oh my gosh, you get all their traits. That's super good. It's super confusing. There's going to be a lot going on. No. Then I remembered to look at our handy-dandy rules reference. Many cards have one or more traits listed on the top of the text box, printed in bold italics. Traits have no inherent effect on game effect. Instead, some cards' abilities reference cards that possess or lack specific traits. So, what is a trait? This is a trait up here. She is X-Men. That is what a trait means. So I thought it was going to be a lot more confusing. So you're attaching this to them, you get their traits. Now, it does allow for some cool synergies that lets you build out of aspect for her. Like you could build her in a Web Warriors deck. You could build her in a Champions deck and attach this to one of your Champions or Web Warriors and get that ability. So you can... It gives her deck building flexibility for sure. But there's some other things that happen as well. Force response. After a player phase begins, set it aside again. So once per turn, you get to attach it to somebody, you get their traits, and then at the end of the round, or the beginning of your next turn, you get rid of it. All right, so if touched is attached to a minion, which remember is an enemy, Rogue's attacks gain overkill. So in addition to getting their traits, you get overkill. If it's attached to the villain, you gain retaliate 1. If it's attached to an ally, you get aerial. And if it's attached to another hero, remember you can't do it to yourself, you gain stalwart to get rid of those pesky toughness and whatever. So those are all basic. Now there are cards in her deck that interacts with those cards as well. Today I'm playing against Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw is very straightforward, but one of my favorite heroes in the game actually. I really find it fun, these environment spells that Ebony Maw has, because they kind of let you know when bad stuff's coming, like this one. Enters play with 2 invocation counters, force response. After the last invocation counter is removed from here, discard a card at random from your hand and you are confused. So they have some powerful effects, but it takes a little while. You kind of see it coming, but also there's cards that will accelerate them, and there are cards that, you know, are based on how many spells you have in front of you. So I don't know. I like this one. It can be more swingy, I think, than some people like, but beside those spells, it's pretty straightforward. But whenever Ebony Maw activates against you, that's attacks or thwarts, remove an invocation counter from a spell card in your play area. And then, just like normal, they're trying to get through this first one. They only need 6 to get through. So we will hopefully not have that happen. All right, but I'm going to shuffle up and draw up, and let's get going. Beauty and the Thief. We saw this one in the Gambit pack if you watched my video yesterday. By the way, if you haven't, I do have a Gambit first play. It's actually my second play with Gambit. And Impressions, this is actually a first play. I have not played Rogue at all, so there might be some additional reading for me, which is also additional benefits for you. So this is a hero action. It's an attack and a thwart, deal 4 damage and remove 4 threat. But you have to have both Gambit and Rogue in play. And I do not have Gambit in my starting hand. Alright, so we have a new protection card. Hero Interrupt. When you spend this card to play a defense event, you get to draw a card, which is sweet, although I'm not defending right now. So going Rogue, it's a superpower thwart. Hero action thwart, remove 3 threat from a scheme. If Rogue has aerial, Remember, you can easily get aerial by attaching it to an ally, although I don't have any allies right now. If Rogue has aerial, you remove 2 additional threat. Retaliate, you get to confuse an enemy. So remember, retaliate is if you put it on the villain, you get to confuse an enemy. And if you are stalwart, which means on another hero, which isn't going to happen, you get to draw a card. Judoka's skill. So you put 3 judo counters on it. When you defend against an enemy attack, remove a judo counter from here. That attack gets -2, which seems kind of good. 2 to get -2 attack 3 times. Very good. Superpower adaptation. Hero action. If a touch is attached to a friendly character, search its owner's discard pile for an event that belongs to the same classification as the character. So basically, if you have an ally in play and it's attached to him, you get to search the deck for an event and you get to add it to your hand. So if they have an ally, you get to add a card to your hand, which is kind of nice. So basically, if it's an identity-specific ally, then you search for an identity-specific event. If it is an aspect ally, then you can search for an aspect event. If it's a basic ally, you search for a basic event. So you search for whatever type of identity that character has, whatever touched is attached to. And then energy is a double resource. Let's see. Going rogue, we don't really have threat to remove, but confusing the villain never makes me sad. Beauty and the thief, we don't have anything. You know what? I feel like this is... I'm going to keep the jujitsu, but the rest of it going in the trash. Because, yeah, I'm not saving that to defend. It is a wild resource, but I don't think I have much stuff that cares what resources I use. Superpower adaptation, we already talked about that. Hopefully I get an ally. Ooh, Rogue's Jacket. While touched is attached to a friendly character, you get +1 thwart. While it's attached to an enemy, +1 attack. Sweet. Genius. Love it. Not today. Hero interrupt defense. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 defense for the attack. If you take no damage, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Boom, boom, boom. So some thwarting in protection. Well, they have thwarting, but it's usually pretty slow. This is pretty fast thwarting that happens right away. All right, so I'm going to put my Jujitsu skill in, which gets -2 attack 3 times. I like that. I am going to flip to my non-alter ego side. I am going to spend superpower adaptation to play my jacket, which gives me +1 attack if I attach touched to the villain, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So because it's attached to the villain, I get retaliate 1, and because of Rogue's Jacket, I'm going to get +1 attack because it's attached to an enemy. So I am not attacking for 2 anymore. I am now attacking for 3, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Goodbye, Ebony Maw. Now, do remember that this is a first play, and I have never played with this deck. It is the pre-constructed deck, so if you catch any mistakes in this video, I apologize, and I will try to correct them in the show notes. So I am going to keep this, and I'm going to keep Genius as well. So my hand size of 5, I'm going to go ahead and draw 3 cards. And Armor, new ally. It's X-Men, play only if your identity has X-Men, which Rogue does. 1/1, and she starts with Toughness, which never going to complain. Ooh, Iceman, love me some Iceman. 3 freeze counters when you put Iceman in response. After a minion enters play, remove a freeze counter to stun that minion. Oh, love it. And Unflappable, play under any player's control. When you defend against an attack and take no damage, draw a card. Yes, please, and thank you. I think I'm going to spend Armor, although, gosh, I want to play Unflappable. I want to play all these cards, honestly. Iceman might be the one that has to go away. There's some pretty heavy hitter villains in here, though, but I'd love to play Unflappable, and I'd love to play Armor. I don't know how I'm going to pay for all this. I'm really not, is the answer here. I'm really not, unless I don't play Not Today, but let's see what happens. All right, we're going to spend 1 here. Do I play Not Today? That'll remove those 2 threat. I kind of feel like I have to. So I'm going to spend Iceman, because Armor I might be able to afford, and use Not Today. When your hero defends against the attack, get +2 defense for the attack, which I will, so I'll have 4 defense. If you take no damage, remove 2 threat. Pretty sure there isn't anything that is more than +3 in this deck. When Ebony Maw activates against you, so it's when he activates, this is going to count down. So we're going to count down to 1 on there. You're going to attack for 1 plus star, give the villain tough status card. Well, I do not like that, because I don't think I have a way to gain piercing. But it's okay, actually, because... Don't I have retaliate? Thought there was someplace. Ah, here. Touch card. It's attached to the villain. Rogue gains retaliate 1. Yes, please, and thank you. So, does no damage to me, which removes 2 threat from a scheme. And then I get retaliate, which, blink, gets rid of that tough. Nice. Alright, now I'm going to take my encounter card and the villain schemes. Well, I'm glad we took the 2 threat off. Alright, schemes for... First things first, we're going to activate this. So we remove the last counter. After the last invocation counter is removed from manipulation, discard it, and discard 1 card at random from your hand, and you are confused. Well, I don't have that many cards in my hand, so I guess we're going to see how this goes. And it's my double resource, which means I'm just going to play Unflappable this turn. That's fine. And I am confused. Alright, so now we resolve the thwart. It's 2 scheme plus another 2 boost icons on that. So for a total of 4. And that stinks because I am confused and I really have, like, literally no cards in my hand. But that's okay. That is what happens sometimes. Alright, so back to my turn. Yeah, I got the +1 attack. Alright, I'm just going to discard armor to play Unflappable. After you defend against the attack and take no damage, get to draw a card. Drawing cards would be good because I had 2 cards at the beginning of that turn. So, end of my turn, I'm going to ready up. Yes, it was that quick. And I'm going to draw 3 cards. Ooh, Southern Cross. I got 2 of these, which is kind of bad because it looks like it's my signature attack. I also have Gambit in my hand. Oh, man. Another Going Rogue, which removes threat. Not today. That's that good defensive card, which would remove threat. It's a defense card, too. It's not a thwart card, which is good. So I can actually use it to remove some threat here. Southern Cross, hero attack, deals 6 damage to an enemy. If Rogue has aerial, deals 2 damage. Retaliate, you get stun, and remember, if the card is on the villain, you get retaliate, and stalwart, you get to draw a card. So this one gives you +2 threat removal and confuses, or confuses. This one gives you +2 attack or stuns. So they kind of work on in the same way as each other. Let's see what Gambit is. Gambit enters play with 3 charge counters on him. Interrupt. When Gambit attacks, remove a charge counter from him, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So he's going to do 3 attack, 2 thwart. Oh, also very good. But I kind of feel like I want to play Not Today on this one. So we're going to add 1 threat at the beginning of the round. Then he is going to, Ebony Maw is going to attack me. There are no spells to remove counters for him this time. But I am going to defend and play Not Today. I have 2 Southern Crosses, so I'll put 1 of those. For +2 defense, so I am defending for 4. And a boost of 2 gives him a total attack of 3. I do get to do my retaliate, and then I get to remove 2 threat. It is not a thwart action to do that. It just says remove 2 threat. So even confused, I can do that. And oh, I didn't get rid of my confused, did I? So going rogue is really the only one of these cards I can afford to do. And because I'm confused, it'll just go away. You know, I really wish... Oh, Unflappable. I defended all the damage. I was like, I really wish I had more resources. Ooh, Moria McTaggart is a basic support. Play only if your identity has the mutant trait, and I believe I do on my alter ego. Yes, I do. Let's see. After mutant alter ego changes into hero form, exhaust Moria McTaggart, and that hero's controller draws a card. So every time you flip back up, you get to do that. Well, guess what I'm not doing? Not doing that. I'll probably play Gambit just to be able to thwart a little bit, although it's a little sad because Gambit wants to attack with that 3 attack. But I feel like... I mean, it could just deal 6 damage and stun. That might not be terrible. Yeah, maybe that's what's going to happen. That way I don't have to defend. I don't have to be exhausted all the time. I like not being exhausted all the time. But that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and see what my event card is. Ooh, ho, ho, ho! Shadows of the Past. Drink. So for those of you who don't know, I play Marvel Champions every Friday night with my good friend Terrence live on the One Stop Co-op Shop streaming channel. So go ahead and check us out over there, where every time we draw Shadows of the Past, you have to drink. Usually in sadness, but it could also be considered happiness. Whatever you want to consider it. It's, yeah, this is no bueno right here, is what just happened. After Mystique engages you, search the encounter deck and discard pile and set aside area for a copy of Misled Treachery and shuffle it into the deck. And shuffle it into your deck. Your deck. So this is going to happen when revealed. Shuffle this into your deck. This card gains Surge. After this card enters your hand, place 2 threat on the main scheme. You may discard this card from your hand at the end of the player phase like any other card. Huh. Well, that doesn't make me happy. So it's kind of like the rest of this deck, ironically, where like stuff's coming. It's just not here yet. So Mystique is villainous, which I don't love. Not even a little bit. And let's see what this is, because why shouldn't we have more threat on the board when I'm confused? While she knows Mystique can't be trusted, Rogue still finds it hard to reject the woman who raised her. When defeated, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of Misled Treachery and shuffle it into your deck. And it's got an acceleration on it. Wow. Okay. That all just kind of happened. As much as I would love to put Gambit into play, I am going to stick with my original plan. I'm going to pay 1, 2, 3 for Southern Cross. Oh, wait, I got to decide where I'm going to attach this. I am going to attach it to the villain, I think. Yeah, because it gives me Retaliate and it lets me stun. So I am going to play, I paid the 3. I'm going to play Southern Cross, which does 6 plus an additional 2 for a total of 8 and stuns. That seems good, doesn't it? It makes me happy. So that is that. I am going to go ahead and ready up, and I will draw up to my hand size of 5. Oh my gosh. Preemptive Strike. When a boost card is turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel all boost icons on that card, and then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon. Misled Treachery. After this card enters your hand, place 2 threat on the main scheme. Well, there's that. So we are going to lose this first one. You may discard this card from your hand at the end of the turn, like any other card. And when you discard this, it's going to go right back to the villain deck, because that is its home. We got X-Gene here. Play only if you have a mutant trait, max 1 per player. Exhaust X-Gene to generate a resource for an identity-specific event. That is very specific, but it is pretty inexpensive, and I have plenty of identity-specific events, so that may be a thing that happens. Alright, so we are going to add 2 because of the acceleration icon here, which does put it all over the threshold of 6 here. So let's see what happens next. When revealed, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Each player discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a spell environment is discarded and puts it into play into their play area. Alright, so we're going to do that. So we will go ahead and shuffle this. We will keep discarding. Oh, there goes Shadows of the Past. Oops. So here we go. We're going to put it into our play area. It's going to get 3 counters on it. Make that a little bigger. Surge. Force Response. After the last invocation counter is removed from here, deal 2 damage to each character you control, which right now would just be me. So then we just got to get to 9 for me to lose, which would be wonderful, right? If this stage is completed, players lose the game. Alrighty. Well, we got that going for us. So Ebony Maw is going to attack, but is stunned, so we don't remove any counters from here, because Ebony never actually activates. We are going to activate Mystique, who is attacking for 1 and is villainous when you defend against an enemy. So you have to be defending to use that. When a boost card is turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel all boost icons. Let me see if I can do this. You guys call me out if I cheated in the notes. But if I use this to defend when a boost card is turned face up, because it's a defense card, it makes me the defender. Then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon, and then I believe I can use this because it's when you defend. So I believe I can preemptive strike. So let's see how this would work. So Mystique's going to attack me. I'm probably going to do this wrong and get this wrong. Please put any corrections in the comments. But if I'm right, this is freaking awesome. Alright, so there's only 1 on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay for preemptive strike. So that takes that 1 boost icon and throws it at the villain. Now I believe it's got to be the villain. Yeah, it does, because it says the villain for sure on preemptive strike. Now, this is on here, which means I get retaliate, which plinks off that tough. Now, I do get attacked for 1, but because I am now defending, I believe I can spend one of these counters. When you defend against an enemy and remove a counter from here, that enemy gets -1 or -2 attack, so that 1 attack becomes 0, and then I can play Unflappable because I took no damage from an attack. I get to draw a card. If that is truly how all that works, that is amazing, and I'm very happy about that, because that is everything I could have asked for and more, so awesome. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and flip a card for my encounter card. So it's a spell, it gets Surge. Let's go ahead and put 3 counters on it. After the last invocation counter is removed from pacification, discard it, exhaust each upgrade, and you're stunned. Wonderful. Ah, the villain attacks you. So what's this? Defense. When the enemy with touched attached to it attacks, prevent all that damage from the attack and gain the tough status card. Yes, please, and thank you. Yep, the villain attacks you. So let's do it. Got the touched on him? He's got the touched. Alright, so he attacks me. I'm going to pay Preventive Strike to pay for Bulletproof Bell. When an enemy with touch attacks, I'm going to prevent all that damage. So whatever this is, doesn't matter. And I retaliate. Boom! Knocking Ebony Maw into the next stage. So, Ebony Maw here has 18 life, is a Black Order Mystic. When Ebony Maw activates against you, remove... I do have to remove a counter from each of these. Don't forget to do that. When revealed, each player discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until they draw a spell and put it into play in their play area. Wonderful. Well, there's a spell. Again, putting it into play, not surging it because it's not revealed. So we're going to have 3 counters on here, and this is another one that does 2 damage to each character I control. Well, now that just looks silly, doesn't it? So let's put one that is the same size on there. There we go. Much better. All right. Yeah, I got 1 card in my hand and this garbage, which does nothing. So, again, like most protection heroes, your turns go pretty fast. Life's pretty fast in the rogue lane. So most of my stuff is happening on the villain turn. I do have to attach this to somebody. So I want to attach it to Mystique and gain Overkill, or the villain and gain Retaliate. I think I'm attaching it right back to the villain, please and thank you. I still haven't lost 1 health, by the way. I got a villainous Mystique in front of me. I got this going on over here. So I could get rid of this, but then I got to put another Misled in my deck. Is it worth it? The other option is to just punch Ebony Maw in the face. I mean, I got a lot of stuff coming my way. I'm just going to punch Ebony Maw in the face. And because of my jacket, I get +1 attack. So I'm attacking for 1, 2, and 3. At the end of my turn, do I get rid of Gene X? It's a pretty good card, but... or X Gene. Now I take Misled, and I'm going to discard it at the end of my turn. When you discard it to the pile it belongs to, which in this case is the villain pile. Alright, let's go ahead and ready up, and let's go ahead and draw up, and hopefully I can do something good. Going Rogue seems good, and Southern Cross seems good. Southern Cross seems real good. Energy Transfer, hero action. Attach touched to a character other than Rogue and deal 2 damage to the character. Heal 2 damage from Rogue and ready her. You gain each of the attached character's traits until the end of the round. Well, we know that, so all I'm getting is Black Order and Mystic as my traits by having it attached here. So that seems good, but there's no way I can pay for all this. I got more Judoka skills, and I got another Unflappable, which I can't use because it's max 1 per player. Probably going to defend against the attack here, so we'll see what happens. All right, so 1, we're going to go ahead and attack. Now the attack is 2. I am going to defend against this attack, so we are going to knock these down to 1 and 2. I'm defending against the attack. Boost of 0, so I don't need to use any of my counters. Oh, it says when you defend, you have to decide, so I would have done that for sure. Which also means I might not have been able to do it last time because I played a card to make it... Oh no, because it's when I defend. When I played the card, I became the defender, and then I played that skill right away. I definitely would have had to choose that earlier, and I definitely would have, so... No cheating here, but I will play Unflappable to draw a card, which makes me happy. More Judoka, which makes me very happy. Okay, we do have to have Mystique activate against me. Guess what? My string of not taking damage is over. Oh my gosh. That is a big hitter. 3 extra boost icons, so it's 1 plus the 3 is a total of 4. And I am ouched in the face. That is it for the villain turn, except I need an encounter card. Oh, hey look. Can't remove threat from the main scheme. That seems good when I'm about to lose. When revealed, each player must choose to either take 2 damage or place 2 threat here. Yep, 2 threat there is just fine. I'm going to have to race at this point. That's okay because I got a Southern Cross, and then I'll be able to hit, and then I got energy transfer, and I can't pay for all that, and it's fine. It's just fine. Nothing to see here. So, beginning of my turn comes, I am going to attach touch to the villain again. So, I mean, let's be honest. I'm doing it. Oh. So, I do have retaliate. So, they take 1 damage for attacking me. I retaliate. Again, I get retaliate because it's attached to the villain. I gain retaliate. So there you go. Ebony Maw takes 1 retaliate damage. Perfect. I mean, I got a Southern Cross, right? That's all there is. So I'm going to take this, touched, attach it to the villain, and I'm Southern Crossing. So that's total 8 damage. Oh no, it's not 2 additional damage. So I messed that up last time. I took all of it. I was not aerial. You only get aerial when it's attached to an ally. Well, I didn't have an ally, so I cheated last time. I did 2 additional damage. That means Maw is technically not flipped, but somehow I did 2 damage anyway. So we'll just add 2 life to Ebony Maw, and I think that kind of all works out. So I'm going to spend Unflappable because I can't use it, because I already have an Unflappable. I'm going to spend this Judoku skill there, and I'm going to spend going Rogue because thwarting is not for me apparently, to do a cross, which is 6 damage and stunned. Not both, just stunned. Alright, so that's 6, and that is stunned. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to keep the energy transfer here because it lets me ready myself and do 2 damage. That seems good because that's 8 damage next turn, minimum, with energy transfer. So any other damage I can do will, because I'm attacking for 3, and then 2 more with the energy transfer. Yeah, that seems real good. All right, so I'm going to put this here. I'm going to ready up, and I am going to go ahead and draw my 5 cards. Oh, I only draw 4 cards, which is a shame because I could have used that double resource. So if I use that for defense, so Bulletproof Bell, when the enemy with touch attached attacks, prevent all that damage, and gain the tough card. Oh, I was supposed to get tough. I missed a lot of stuff. There's a lot going on, but I definitely should have gotten tough at some point when I played Bulletproof Bell before. Yeah. So I think that would have blocked all the damage from Mystique's attack, if I'm not mistaken, but could be very wrong. I am not going to take it. I'm just going to play it as you miss it, you miss it. So I can't play any of these cards because he is stunned right now. So Energy Transfer is clearly going to be the card I play next turn. Alright, so we're going to add 1-2 with the acceleration here, which means I got a couple more turns. The villain should attack me, but is stunned, so none of these counters go off, thankfully, because that would be bad. We are going to have Mystique attack. Mystique is villainous, so Mystique attacks for 1, plus 2 more, for a total of 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, I'm still alive. Then we take an encounter card. Ah, Quick Strike. That's wonderful. So, oh, don't forget retaliate damage. Quick Strike. After Supergiant attacks, the damage and damages a character, that character is stunned. Well, that's not great, so I am going to go ahead and defend that damage. So I don't get stunned, and then I'm going to play Unflappable and hopefully draw another Unflappable. Wonderful. I have so many resources. I mean, I would love to put X-Gene into play. Because I have so many resources, it's just a free resource for identity-specific stuff the rest of the game. The problem is that there really isn't a good way for me to do that in the current state of the game. So let's see. When this is attached to a minion, I get Overkill, which isn't really ideal. Oh, by the way, Retaliate does come out. 1 damage over there. Alright. So I'm going to spend 1, 2 to do Energy Transfer. Attached to a character other than Rogue and deal 2 damage. Heal 2 damage from Rogue and ready her. Okay. So I do get 2. We're doing 2 here and we're attaching it here. So that actually, I forgot about the healing part of it. That's pretty awesome. You gain each of their traits until the end of the round. Great. Yeah, just what I wanted. And I'm going to attack for 3. Again, I get 3 because it's attached to an enemy. So it boosts my attack by 1. 1, 2, 3. And I just got to survive a round of damage here and pray I get some decent attack. I'm going to keep Bulletproof Bell because that will not only protect me from Ebony Maw, but from Mystique as well. Although, oh no, it won't because all these are going to trigger. So I'm going to take 2 damage and I'm going to be stunned. Well, then this stun won't matter. So I got that going for me. Oh, man. All right. Well, X-Gene, sorry, you're not getting played. This lets me draw a card if I play it for a defensive event. Well, we know I'm going to play it for a defensive event because I'm going to play it for Bulletproof Bell. So I'll just draw 3 cards and search the owner's discard pile. So if I attach this to a friendly character, which I don't even have, well, I have Karma now. I can put Karma into play. That seems very expensive. Ooh, energy transfer. 2 damage and readies me. Along with my retaliate. Yeah, this. So this is going to be a pivotal moment. Let's see if I can play this correctly and survive this round. All right. 2 damage. Super tight round here. We're going to get attacked for 2. Which first. Oh, this goes first. That's actually really good. 2 damage to each character you control. I forgot it goes first. That's even better. 2 damage here. Then this goes off after the last invocation counter is removed from pacification. Discard it. Exhaust each upgrade you control. That's okay. I can't unflappable, that means, but that's all right. And you get stunned, which is not as good, but it's not the end of the world. And we'll put this one down to 1. We'll put these 2 beaters in front of me here. And again, now I don't care about this stunned as much. So that was great, and you'll see why that 2 damage coming off first was great. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use Defensive Energy to play Bulletproof Bell. When an enemy with touch attached to it attacks, prevent all damage from the card and gain the tough status. Well, I'm not forgetting tough. This can attack for 2 plus 2 more would be 4, but guess what? I prevent all that damage, and shall we not forget, I retaliate. Okay, then I can't unflappable, but I do get to draw a card because of Defensive Energy. Let's see if it is. I mean, it's a double resource. I'm not going to complain about that. All right, so now I get attacked by Mystique, but I am tough, so I don't care that much about that attack. So let's go ahead and take it. That would have been 2 damage, but again, retaliate goes off, tough goes off, and then I'm going to get attacked by Supergiant. After Supergiant attacks and damages a character, the character is stunned. Well, you're attacking, you're damaging me, and I am stunned, but guess what? I'm already stunned. Fool, joke is on you. Let's add more acceleration to the board. When defeated, we're going to discard cards from the encounter deck until a minion is discarded, put into play, engage with the player. All right, so that'll be 3 next turn, which will be a loss because that'll get it up to 9. There's no way I can get rid of this crisis icon and damage from here. We're just pushing through. I don't know if this is Rogue, how they intended Rogue to be played, but anybody who watches me knows that I don't necessarily play things the way they are intended to be played. So first thing I'm doing is, attaching untouched over here. Then I'm going to attack, which removes my stun. Then I'm going to spend 2 resources to play my energy transfer, touched to a character other than Rogue, and deal 2 damage to the character. We're doing it to the villain. Heal 2 damage from Rogue and ready her. You gain each of their traits. Here's 2 damage. And guess what? Boom, boom, boom. Attacking for 3. That is a villain defeat. All right. So, first impressions are, that was super fun. Well, hold on. Are there any cards we didn't see in her deck? There was just one we didn't get to, not today, which is, I believe, the first card we played in the game. So, we already saw that one. So, more protection cards. Let's read Karma, though, before I get into my final thoughts. Karma. Response. After you play Karma from your hand, choose a non-elite minion. While Karma is in play, take control of the minion and treat it as controlled ally with a blank text box. Non-elite. So could I have taken control? Nope. None of those. Not today. Sword is equal to its printed scheme, and it takes 2 consequential damage after it thwarts or attacks. So basically, these I can't control them because they're elite, but it would be a 2/2 under my control, taking 2 consequential damage every time it attacks. Nifty. All right. I will be honest, if you saw my unboxing video, which by the way, also on One Stop Co-op Shop streamed, I did a live unboxing video. If you saw that video, I was a little worried about Rogue. I thought she'd be a little bit more complicated, but that's when I thought traits was something completely different. I thought I was going to have to look in like tough and villainous and quick strike and like, what does all that mean? No, traits are just Black Order Elite, Brotherhood of Mutants Elite. Honestly, it's not going to matter that much unless you're playing it on your allies. And in that situation, it does give you cool deck building possibilities. So I like a lot of what she's doing. It's not complicated. And I like the fact that the effects are consistent. So if you're attaching to a minion, you're going to get overkill. If you're attaching to the villain, it gets retaliate. If you're attaching to an ally, aerial, hero, you get stalwart. I like that the consistency of the effects, and then even those cards we were saying, the attack card and the thwart card, they have very, this energy transfer card is super fun, by the way, too. I love being able to heal. But if you look at going Rogue and Southern Cross over here, the effects are consistent. You're doing damage. If you're aerial, you do more damage. Here, you're thwarting. If you are aerial, you thwart for more. Here, if you retaliate, meaning it's on the villain, you're going to stun the enemy. If you're retaliating here, you're going to confuse. And Stalwart on both of them draws you a card, and the only one that doesn't do anything is the Overkill one. So if it's attached to a minion, doesn't do nothing. I like the consistency of the effects. It wasn't overwhelming for me. I was a little worried about that. I mean, if you see me play, I certainly can play higher end heroes, but sometimes it gets to be too much where I don't want to figure out the puzzle. I think Rogue is a fun puzzle. I do think you're going to have to make some decisions. Are you going to focus on minions this turn? You have to do that anyway when you play Marvel Champions. But if you are, you're going to get that overkill ability. Well, maybe not. Maybe I have Southern Cross in my hand. So instead of overkilling, maybe I attach it to the villain so I get the retaliate. And I'm going to get the stunning ability with Southern Cross or whatever. So depending on what you're looking for that turn, I like that it gives you different options for how you're going to play out your turn. I feel like she's a hero that is going to make you play clever, feel clever, but not be overwhelming, which I really like. I love the new protection cards. Judoka skill is really cool. And that last one we were talking about is Not Today. I love this. +2 defense and remove 2 threat from a scheme. As a defensive event, yes please and thank you. So these two are the ones that stand out to me. Karma is actually one of the better like control minions. While yes, they do have to take 2 consequential damage, so they might not stick around that long. When that villain is defeated, you still control Karma. Because it doesn't say she goes away. It says, while Karma is in play, take control of it. So Karma is still in play. Now, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't thwart. She doesn't attack. But you can use her as a chumper. You could also use the villain as a chumper and then use her as a chumper on the next turn. So yes, she's expensive at a 4-cost ally. But remember, you're getting rid of a minion. You're getting an extra ally, basically a second ally to help you. Plus Karma can chump as well. So it's like 2 rounds of chumping. Armor was really cool. If you remember Armor earlier, 2 costs. There's only a 1/1 with like 2 life. But comes in with toughness for 2 cost. That's awesome. Again, chumps for 2 rounds and then helps you out with something. Thwarting or attacking. So all in all, I think Rogue is another really good pack. They're really knocking it out of the park with these X-Men. This wave has been very cool. I don't think there's a dud in the batch. I know that because when you talk to people, everybody's telling you that they have a different favorite hero. Now, maybe some of it's nostalgia, but a lot of it is gameplay as well. They all play very differently from each other, and they're all pretty powerful in general. And I like these X-Men allies and the things you can do with them as well. So I hope you enjoyed that recorded playthrough. If you want to see us play live, we play live every Friday night on One Stop Co-op Shop streamed, usually 10 p.m. Sometimes we shift it around, so you're going to have to subscribe and turn on those notifications to find out when we are playing. But yes, we do play every Friday night pretty much for 2 years now. So there's a lot of back content as well. So if you love watching Marvel Champions, I think it is a more interesting game at 2 players than it is solo. It's certainly a great game to play solo, but I think it's more interesting at 2 players. So there's 2 of us usually. Sometimes we'll bring in a third, but the games get pretty intense because we do add crazy modulars or do crazy things, we're like, this would probably be fun. And sometimes it's totally devastating. And sometimes we, sleek it out by the skin of our teeth. I don't think we have too many super easy wins. That is for sure. We definitely challenge ourselves on Friday nights. So if you enjoy Marvel Champions, come check us out every Friday night on One Stop Co-op Shop stream channel. Make sure you're subscribed there to get notifications when we're playing, because sometimes I'll do some of these first play and impression videos there. I did the unboxing of Rogue and Gambit there as well. So there's lots of Marvel Champions content over there. Anyway, hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!